Welcome to Folk Songs and Stories. Join Marc Gunn as he shares the stories behind indie, Celtic, and folk music, plus simple tips for sustainable living. Listen and celebrate the heart of folk music.
We're celebrating the 20-year anniversary of Irish drinking songs for cat lovers. I'll share a story about my song When Kitty Eyes Are Smiling. You'll find out how my first Kickstarter did 4 years before Kickstarter existed. Plus, you'll enjoy rockin' traditional Irish music from High Octane out of France. This is Folk Songs and Stories, show number 300. Hey, we made it to 300. Awesome. There's a tear in your eye, and I'm wondering why, for it never should be there at all. Such power in your smile, sure stone you beguile, so that never a teardrop should fall. When your sweet lilting laughter's like some fairy song, and your eyes twinkle bright as can be, you will laugh all the while, and all other times smile, and I'll smile, a smile for me. When Irish eyes are smiling, sure 'tis like the morning spring. In the lilt of Irish laughter, you can hear the angels sing. When Irish hearts are happy, all the world seems bright and gay. And when Irish eyes are smiling, sure they steal your heart away. For the smile is a part of the love in your heart, and it makes even sunshine more bright. Like the linnet sweet song, crooning all the day long, comes your laughter and light. For the springtime of life is the sweetest of all. There is never real care or regret. And while springtime is ours, throughout all of youth's hours, let us smile each chance that we get. When Irish eyes are smiling, sure 'tis like the morning spring. With the lilt of Irish laughter, you can hear the angels sing. When Irish hearts are happy, all the world seems bright and gay. And when Irish eyes are smiling, sure they steal your heart away. Welcome to Folk Songs and Stories. I am Marc Gunn. I'm a Celtic folk musician living in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm also host of the Irish and Celtic Music Podcast, and I'm also a cat lover, as you'll hear later in the show. This show is for fans of my music, and if you're new to the show, please subscribe. You can do that at pubsong.com or just email me, follow at keltfather.net. Before we get started, I want to remind you to go vote for your favorite song on Irish Drinking Songs for Cat Lovers. If you haven't listened, you can find it on all the streaming sites, but it's also on Bandcamp and on my Patreon page. I'm going to share some upcoming shows. July 19th, please join me at Fiddler's Green Coffeehouse concert series. It's happening here in Atlanta. July 31st through August 3rd, I'll be at Gen Con in Indianapolis. August 28th through September 1st, Dragon Con in Atlanta, Georgia. September 24th through 28th, I'm going to my Hobbit gathering, ALEP 6, located in Harrodsburg, Kentucky. Then October 17th through 19th, I'll be at MultiVerse in Peachtree City, Georgia. And November 8th in Roswell, Georgia, I'll be at IrishFest Atlanta with my daughter Inara doing another show. December 7th, we'll be at Nerdy Wonderland at the Lost Druid, and I hope you can join me at one or all of these events. So, meantime, let's get some music. This is High Octane with Eastern Vagrant from High Octane. you enjoy the music of this podcast or this podcast in general, then join my club on Patreon. It is the Gun Runners Club. You'll get something new each and every week. There's blogs, exclusive downloads, sheet music, lots of podcasts, and of course, it helps support me financially, and you can sign up for the Patreon for free if you just want to do that. And there's a lot of free stuff that I send out as well. So thank you so much for supporting it. And let's take on a little journey. In 2005, I decided to fund my second solo album, which was called Irish Drinking Songs for Cat Lovers. And I decided to do it with Kickstarter. Well, actually, not exactly Kickstarter, because Kickstarter hadn't started yet. It would be another 4 years before that happened. However, I ran basically a Kickstarter, my crowdfunding campaign, in a very similar way. I set different levels, and it ended up raising over $10,000 to fund the album. Admittedly, that was not all profit. In fact, I had far higher expenses back then because I didn't know how to run a fundraising campaign. So nevertheless, it was a huge success, and I was able to order 1,000 copies of the CD. And I think I've printed over 3,000 copies of it since it was first released. But of course, now it is no longer available on CD, with me at least. There was a guy who scammed me out of 300 copies of the CD many years ago. So there are probably some copies that you can get a hold of and sell and enjoy. But it's only available as a digital download now, or as an album pin. And if you're not familiar with album pins, they are lapel pins themed to a particular album. So you get a digital download of the album, and then you can wear your album. So go check that out in my store at magerecords.com. On June 6, 2005, I released the second episode of the Cat Lovers Podcast to fund this album, and I'm going to re-release that episode just for you. Here it is.
Warning. Listening to the following podcast may mean you are pussy whipped. I know I am.
Coming, Tiziano.
Welcome to the Cat Lovers Podcast, Episode 2. My name is Marc Gunn, and I am a cat lover. Well, I'm happy to say I have learned my lesson. I came in today. For some reason, the cats didn't rush to the door. Usually, they come for their daily greeting, saying, meow, 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 meow. Asking if for me to rub their bellies and heads, or in Tiziano's case, to lick me. He licks ferociously all along my skin and whatnot. So, but in any case, I came into the door and looked around, and there were no cats. Tiziano, Torre, I called. I heard the rustling of their collars. So I went to the back bedroom and I looked around, and there's Torre walking, stretching. He's stretching a little bit, then walks slowly towards me. Ugh. Oh, that feels good. And I look at my dresser drawers, and it looks like the drawers are open. But there's no Tiziano, so I'm thinking, okay, the cats must be sleeping in the drawers or something. Tiziano must be in there. No Tiziano. That, of course, means one thing. Tiziano is behind the drawer. I decided to close it very slowly, just in case there's a little cat behind there, which there was. So I pulled the drawer out and looked into the little hole where the drawer, and in there is Tiziano's peering out, all cute like, "What are you doing, Tiziano?" It was as amusing as ever. So he climbs on out of the drawer and onto the ground, and now I need to go say hello to him. Oh boy. All right. Welcome to the Cat Lovers Podcast. I just realized that I never introduced myself, or really, me and my cats, or my cats and me rather, because that's probably a bit more appropriate. But my name is Marc Gunn. I am a cat lover. I have two sweet little children, Tiziano and Torre. They're brothers. Tiziano is a brown American short-haired tabby, and Torre is more of a grayer short-hair American tabby. I got them 2 years ago, I guess it was. It's almost 3. They're nearing their are they nearing their 3-year-old birthday? My goodness, time flies. Your little babies grow up so quickly. It's amazing. It's frightening. But grow they do. Grow they must. And they're still as sweet as ever. Actually, they're a lot more... you can tell they're a lot older. They're a lot more demanding, that's for sure. There's a lot of people that talk about cats, and they talk about how demanding their cats are. And really, honestly, I've never really experienced that nearly as much as most people. Mine, they're not, well, until recently, okay. Now I wake up in the morning and, Tiziano, they don't bother me at night. This is something I'm really proud of. I train them well because my former cat, Jasper, who I now have visiting rights to, another gray-haired tabby with beautiful green eyes. Jasper, when he was around, he'd wake up in the morning and he'd be pawing at the blinds and saying, get up, meow, 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 just talking up a storm. But Tiziano and Tore, they're the sweetest. They are kind and loving kitties. When I wake up in the morning, they get up with me. Tiziano, of course, is sitting there waiting. He's like all primed in the morning to make a dash for the kitchen, so I can give him some food, some fresh food. And of course, I don't usually go immediately. I like to make them wait a little bit so that they don't start getting too demanding. So as soon as I make it to the kitchen, though, Tiziano's there. Meow, 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 meow. Maybe I'll figure out how to add some sound effects later. I'm still new to this whole podcasting thing, but I've been listening to a lot more podcasts recently and feeling a little bit more confident about things, as I've already jabbered on for 5 minutes and haven't added any real content other than a nice story about Tiziano being locked in the dresser drawers. Tore just recently got an email from one of his recent newsletters that he publishes. It said, in quotes, "Darn humans, when will they learn to speak cat?" he was asking. This is from Anthony Creech, who is a forum moderator at Highlander Radio, CelticRadio.net. Hey, Tori. Meow. I know one human who speaks at least some cat. My sister, living with 8. How can she not learn some? She tried to teach me once. I didn't get very far with it, though. Get Mark to set you up with some catnip and a white Russian, although you might want him to go a little light on the alcohol. Don't want you ending up like a certain feral we know who used to sneak fish from bars. Thank you very much, Anthony. So that was for you, Tore. I don't know if I read that to him yet or not, so maybe he'll mention it in his next newsletter. Now let's do a kitty health tip. Someone emailed me. Fortunately, she doesn't have her name on here. Hey, Titi. That was Tiziano pouncing on the desk or jumping from my computer, and now he's sniffing my computer. I'm afraid he's going to knock this mic cord off, and then it's a little fragile. Okay, well, we'll let him sniff around. Yo, you want to say something, Tiziano? You're welcome to. There it goes. Okay, he didn't want to talk right now, so... Pet cats who are allowed to roam freely outdoors aren't an assumed way of life for anyone anymore. The lifespan of an outdoor cat is less than 5 years. Cats that are cared for indoors can live to 15 or even 18 years or more. Perhaps you have an outside cat that is beating those statistics. Don't count on your cat not getting injured or killed in horrific ways. The risk of serious injury or death for any cat allowed to roam unsupervised outdoors is extremely high. Outdoor cats are far more likely to get injured or killed by fighting with other cats or with other animals. Even if your cat survives a serious trauma, vet bills are expensive, and the animal pays the cost of suffering and pain, not you. So keep kitty safe in the house. I'm definitely a fan of indoor cats. There's something about letting them roam. I mean, admittedly, there's the liberation side of me that says it's their natural environment to wander and roam and whatnot. But there's just so many dangers. I don't think they were prepared to deal with cars. So, yeah, keep your cats indoors. If you're not a fan of that, well, don't. But if you're new to cats, I'd suggest keeping them indoors. I do also want to give out some special thanks. If you haven't been to the catdrinkingsongs.com, I am putting together a CD called Irish Drinking Songs for Cat Lovers. And there are a lot of people who have donated some money to help me reach my goal of putting out the album. And I just want to give some of these people credit and special thanks to Dorian Inman, Amanda Foltz, Rebecca Jordan, John Freehan, Mary Rutledge Davis, Debbie Payton, Winifred Smith, Gabriella Avila. She also does tabby cat portraits of cats, actually. You might check her out. Jamie Hauser, Bethany Larson, Ree Sheridan, Mary Rutledge Davis. Oh, wow, she's on here twice. You sweetheart. Thank you, Mary. I'm going to have to go back through there. Yeah. Joe Allen Robinson, Elizabeth Brooks, Nicole Shepard, Amanda Foltz, Jacqueline Burke, Elizabeth Case, Tracy Gerard, Heather Hintz, Edward Burke, and Emily Rush. So I want to thank all of those people. I'll get some more in the next podcast, which, with any luck, it won't take this long as it has a month. It's been a while since I've published. If you would like to donate, please go to the site and make a donation. I'd really appreciate it. If not, don't worry about it. Poetry. I recently finished a poetry book, and, actually, I should check that. Yes, it is. Okay, good. I recently published a poetry book called Bella Filioch. Actually, I'm not sure how the last word is pronounced because it's Gaelic, and I need to talk to a Gaelic teacher about that. I'm going to see about doing that in the next month, I think. But it's a poetry. I write a lot of poetry in my Mark's Musings. You can read a lot of that stuff. But this is a poem that I published, and it was in the book, and it was inspired by my cat Jasper, actually. So it's called Here's to My Kitty. Here's to my kitty, a beautiful lad. He's silky and sweet with paws just like pads. I cradle him in my arms while I stroke his sweet neck. He lies in kitty heaven, except when he's sick. He runs around madly, psycho kitty, qu'est-ce que c'est? Then he stinks up the bathroom and walks far away. He lies on our counter and purrs in bliss. Then he'll nip at my paws to tell me he's pissed. He lounges on my recliner, knowing it's his to creak. Then he stretches, then claws up my antiques. He'll fly through the air to catch a thrown ball and hide around the corner to pounce on us all. He's the sweetest of friends and a thrill in my life, and to think he was impounded when we found him in strife. I never wanted a cat, but he's won over my heart. Now, how can we ever live far apart? I guess that's kind of cool. The poem was actually written right after a breakup that actually got me started writing a lot of poetry. So, of course, now, like I said, I do have visiting rights with Jasper, which is always a wonderful thing. It's good to stay in touch with your exes, I guess. I want to mention a website. I recently got the song that I'm going to play today, actually, which is When Kitty Eyes Are Smiling. It's now being played on Cat Galaxy. I don't know if you've seen that website, catgalaxymedia.com. You can find the website on the show notes. But Cat Galaxy is all cats all the time. They play music pretty much for your cats. And I've gone over much longer than I anticipated, so if you enjoyed this Cat Lovers podcast, I'm glad. And I hope to have another one out in the very near future. I'm going to end this up with When Kitty Eyes Are Smiling. Feel free to visit catmusicblog.com to see the show notes and tell your friends to come listen and vote for me on Podcast Alley. Ooh, I can say that now. All right, thank you very much. Here's When Kitty Eyes Are Smiling by Marc Gunn and the Dubliners Tabby Cats. There's a kitty eye watching something dart by, though he may have seen nothing at all. Be it game or live, he wiggles his hind, then tackles it with his claws. For a cat roams around like a lion on the prowl.
When Kitty Eyes Are Smiling is a parody of the song When Irish Eyes Are Smiling. The lyrics to the original song were written by Chauncey Olcott and George Graff Jr., and it was set to the music of Ernest Ball for Olcott's production of The Isle of Dreams. The music was published in 1912, and this features my sister Hannah Gunn on flute and bass and piano by Ari Koinoma. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend. In the meantime, thanks for listening to Folk Songs and Stories. I'll be back next week with even more cat songs for you to enjoy. But I am planning something real special, probably in the fall, that's something new and interesting. I'll share a little bit more as we progress here. So this episode was edited by Mitchell Peterson. You can follow along and listen to the show on my Patreon or wherever you find podcasts. Sign up to my mailing list to learn more about songs featured in this episode and discover where I'm performing. Remember, reduce, reuse, recycle, and think about how you can make a positive impact on climate change. Have fun and sing along at pubsong.com.